Hey, pipe friends and friends of the leaf. Hope everybody's doing good this Tuesday night. Boy, I hit the ground running this morning, and just now getting a chance to kind of sit down and unwind. A little housekeeping. I'm smoking some Havana honey. It was one of these reach back and grab blends that hadn't smoked in a while. This is an old favorite. It says Bayou Tobacco on it, but it came from Don Juan's, and this is their one and only true 100% house blend that they in fact blend themselves, and it is great. Nate and Rachel Campbell turned me on to this, and I think Calendar and Big Smoking will smoke it and like it too. I'm pretty certain that they do. And I'm smoking it in a little tinderbox billiard, and I searched high and low to finally get the design of this bowl, not the shape, but the design of it or whatever. And it is a coral. I get the finish, the proper finish. And it's a coral, and coral rustification on it. It's got the little bone stem and little tinderbox. I bought it and my little the pot with a honey color stem that I love so much. Bought them as a set on eBay. They were estate pipes, and truly, this is one of my better smokers. And when I'm finishing up this bowl of Havana honey, I had such a fail earlier. I'll tell you all about that in a minute, but I've hit the ground running this morning, had a doctor's appointment. Left there, went to work. We had a catering job, and we cut out of there about 4 o'clock. My wife and I, and of course, we're in a little town of Farmerville, which is about 30 miles out of Monroe, which I live in West Monroe, but we're 23 miles from where I work and where I live, and it's probably 33 or 4 miles on into Monroe. So we ran to Monroe. One of her former competitors, she spent 17 years in the formal wear business and managed a formal wear tuxedo rental place. So for 17 years, I didn't have to have any. We had a need for a tuxedo. We never had to rent one. I could pick the best in the house and wear it, But she's been out of that about 7 years since she joined me in my business, and we've become partners. And, I don't have that luxury anymore, but not often do I have to rent one. But she went to a former competitor, and he treated us right. He throwed in the shoes free, and we just rented a black called a Notch lapel, and I got the vest rather than the Cumberland. And my future daughter-in-law wanted a bow tie rather than the tie. So it's going to work out good. I'll pick it up Thursday. We'll head out Friday and go to New Orleans and come back Sunday. And getting ready to get the baby boy married off. So went by Governor's, and I bought a Uno and Ventura. I can't even see this thing. Ventura, Samela Cubana. I don't know, Friday pronounced it, and I can't remember. Said this one needed to spend a day or two, and he just got them off the truck today, as a matter of fact, and said it needed to spend a night or two in the humidor. Would do it some good. And I picked up another little CLE Corojo, and I'm going to throw this one in the humidor. It's very well seasoned. It came out of Governor's humidor. I'd usually put them in mine, leave them a week. It doesn't do it. That a lot of people like to do that. I'm one of them. But his is very well seasoned. He's got a lot of, his is lined with Spanish cedar. Of course, I've got extra Spanish cedar strips in mine. I really like that spiciness, so I'll usually give mine the old treatment. But I've got one of these in there, and I've already fired up a Monte Cristo that I'm probably fixing to fire back up here in a minute, because this is about out. This pipe bowl full. But tomorrow I'm going to smoke my first CLE. I've not had one, so I've got one I'm going to smoke, one seasoning. So. But left there and went and grabbed a little sandwich and a bowl of soup at McAllister's, a little ham and cheese toaster, and it was on there, 590 calorie deal, and a bowl of some kind of spicy chicken tortilla soup, and it was really good. And of course, I love their sweet tea, but I went on with the unsweet. I'm giving myself my one luxury of a Coca-Cola here tonight. But anyhow, got home and was doing a video. I thought for a long time I had a battery issue with this. Well, I still do, but well, it's saying fully charged now, but it's still saying consider replacing your battery. So I knew I needed to replace a battery here for the last month. And I said, well, I'm going to do it. Office Depot's like $110 for a freaking battery for this thing. It's a Toshiba satellite L675 that I've got, and but I can buy the battery replacement from eBay. I've had several people recommend it and say they've had really great success with it. I can buy the thing for about $35. And the cord on the end of it, if I'm in where I sit in my room on the little love seat, I have to pull it around, and if I'm propped up on the bed, I've got to run the cord around me. So I've been running off the cord for a couple of months. And when I stick it in, well, the weight of it would sag it, and it sort of bent the prong. Well, what has happened to me is if you bump it, the little light would start blinking, and if you didn't get it back adjusted, your computer would just shut off. So I've been dealing with that about 2 weeks, and tonight it crashed while I was doing a video. I was sitting in the back on the love seat. It turned, and I couldn't get it to do it. It went off, and I couldn't get it back on. Couldn't get it to make contact. I said, well, I probably fried it. So I took the computer and the cord, the Office Depot. Boy, it's smoking good. This old Havana honey is a good one. And I'm going to try to pick up a couple, 4 more ounces. I've got 3 or 4 ounces on hand, but it's one I need to keep. So I'll be down. Well, I'll be coming through Baton Rouge. I'll whip off. It's not too far off the interstate, 10, 12 minutes off, 15 maybe off the interstate. But anyway, took the cord and computer over there, and he put it on their little desktop thing, stuck their cord in it, and it fired right up. So I wound up buying another charger cord. The only thing is I needed it tonight because I've got some other stuff I want to do, and I surely didn't want to be without a computer. That thing was $60 for that cord, $60. Could have got it. Now, what I was going to do was order the battery and the cord. The little cord was $17. Same cord I bought. Now, this is ridiculous, but that's, I had to have it. And right now, the battery is showing 100% charge, and it hasn't been above 18% in 2 months. So I'm hoping some of that was a cord. Maybe I won't have to buy the battery as soon as I thought. Maybe I can postpone it, because I have spent so much money trying to get ready to go out of town, and this wedding, and this thing is going on, and some repairs at the restaurant, and just I'm just nickel and diming myself to death. Of course, suffering from the new CAD ain't helping either, but I really kept myself in budget. I do have what's called a delicious dozen coming in from cigarbids.com. Tomorrow that I got for $37, which is 12 cigars. That makes it, $3 and a dime or so a piece. And it's 3 of each. I got one, I can't remember what it is. 3 more Ave Marias, the Knights Templar, and I love that one. 3 Cohiba Red Dots, 3 Rocky Patel, something another, and then another one I've not heard of. So it was $128 value for $37. That's the way to be able to smoke the higher end cigars. on a daily basis is order them like that, And don't get me wrong, I still buy those boutiques from Friday because that's what he's really from Governors. That's what he's really pushing is the boutique, and I love it. And they're harder to find in places. So like today, I didn't get a chance to. There was a buddy of ours back there smoking. Old Bob, he was back there smoking and wanted me to hang around, but I just didn't have time. My wife was there. I needed to go and head home, pick Emily up. She was at my mom. But normally I'll smoke a cigar there, and sometimes if I'm there a long time, I'll smoke too. But I usually always buy one or two and bring home and put in the humidor to try to keep my boutique end of it built up. So it doesn't affect my Governor's business, but of course he's not carrying Cohibas and Ave Marias and Rocky Patels and that kind of stuff. And he's going to start handling Rocky Patels, but right now that's not, I don't want to cut Friday out of anything because I really, 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 y'all heard me say it a bunch. You really got to support our brick and mortars. And so what I can get from him when he gets the Rocky Patels in, I'd rather pay him more. Now, you get a Rocky Patel in on a 20 deal on a bid, and you get them down. I've seen them go for $3.50, $4 a piece. It's a little, $3 a piece even. It's a little hard to not buy those if you catch them just right. But day in, day out, I'll buy primarily from him. And of course, he'll cut you a box deal or a bundle deal too, Which that bowl is just about down to nothing. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire this Monte Cristo Habana back up. And this is one that was sent by Straight Grain. Got some beautiful pluming on it. The cigar is about 6 or 7 years old, and it is awesome. So I finished that bowl of Havana honey, and it's a good one. No, I'll tell you a little story. If you got a couple extra minutes. For about 4 years, back in the 90s when I was in the convenience store business in the early 2000s up to like 2001, I think from 97 to 2001, I had 3 convenience stores, and a friend of mine wanted to get into the air conditioning business, residential and light commercial. So I kind of more or less funded it and got into it, and we started with him on one service truck, and at the end it wound up with the truck he was on, 2 more pickups, or service trucks that were pickups, and 1 van, and a total of 4 service vehicles. And we were running house calls, breakdowns, unit replacements, houses that didn't have central air that wanted it, we'd go in and put it in. Existing homes, we would do mobile homes, we did light commercial, we did commercial ground up from construction, we'd bid on commercial jobs. Did a few of those, did a bunch of churches. Well, for some reason or other, we got a good reputation for having a good price for the churches, and I don't know, we did about 7 or 8 churches that were being built, and because we'd always cut them a fair deal, and we were always reasonable. I was always one of the most reasonable people in town. Got a good reputation for that, but I got in with about 3 contractors, and back during that time, spec building houses was running rampant, and sometimes they'd go in and put in a new subdivision with 25, 30 houses, and we might get 8 or 10 of them, and what I did, I worked some of the jobs myself. I'd actually go out hands-on, and what I'm getting at with this deal is when I went to the doctor this morning, the reason that I'm having to go once a month is kind of on a pain management deal. Back 15, 16 years ago, I fell through a roof, through a ceiling, while I was on a job site and fell all the way to the floor. Hurt my back, and of course I was working for myself at the time, and I wound up, it's been an ongoing issue, but so he changed my medication today, and so far it looks like it's going to be pretty good. But we had we would do, mostly what I did was I handled I worked it out of the office that I had for the convenience store, and I would do all the check writing, the bill paying, and I did all the jobs. I dealt with the contractors, I dealt with the supply houses, and made our deals with them. Dealt with the contractors, and I'd bid out the jobs, and then of course I would occasionally, usually 1 or 2 days a week, in the evenings I would take actual service calls, because at that point I had rigged my pickup up. I had toolboxes on it, and I could do it. I just didn't have the time because of the convenience store. But usually a couple of days a week, or he and I would rotate weekends. He'd get to take off that weekend, and I'd be on call that weekend. And of course, toward the end, we had other trucks, and I wouldn't have to do it a bunch, and he wouldn't either. But I'd take a house call occasionally, a little breakdown if we had a starting capacitor go down, or a run capacitor, or sometimes you'd have to replace a unit or charge a freon or something. Well, my cousin had a house that was built back in the 50s that had window units in it, and he wanted to put central air in it. And I normally didn't take these kind of jobs, but he had to come up with a used indoor furnace and fan and all, and a used outside unit, all used, and he just wanted us to install it and furnish the ductwork. And this was in freaking July, and it was hot. And I quoted him a kinfolk deal, and my partner really, he said, well, I hate for us to get involved in it, but he said, you've helped me with some family members and overlooked some things, and he said, I'll help you, and he said, me and you'll just go do it ourselves this Saturday, and we don't have to pay any labor. But I only had about $700 profit bid in it, because I cut it to the bone. We rolled in there about 7:30, and by 1 o'clock it was so hot, we were running ductwork in that attic, actually, I think it already had a furnace, so we had to cut register holes, and we did it all. And man, I'd be way down to the other end of the house and just crawl down to the attic door and just hang my head out and just gulp for air. I mean, must have drank 5 gallons of water. Finally, it was getting this thing done. We started off that morning coming in. We had everything loaded on the back of my truck, and I rounded the corner. I thought the furnace was tied on, and it fell out into the road, shattered it. Well, it was my fault. Shouldn't have been doing the thing anyway, but I went and bought I had to replace the unit, so my cost on a new one was about $400 and something. And so that left us about $275 in it. Just lick your wounds and go on. So just about to get through, and I was staggering tired, and I missed the steps on one of the rafters and fell down through the deadgum ceiling and hit the floor right through the sheetrock. Of course, I hurt my back, and from then it's been ongoing. I've had issues with it. It's cost me a whole lot more than that, but I think we had $250 left in it, and got a hold of one of the guys that we did some work with before. There was another sheetrock contractor. He come in and fixed it. At the end of the day, my partner and I at 6 o'clock went to Wendy's and had 2 double cheese combo and had $1.10 left profit out of the job. Worked all day and got a 2 double cheese combos. So, and I've had a lifelong history of back trouble ever since. So, it's just one of them jobs I should have stayed away from. But, you get into those occasionally, and I think that was the last time we ever took any used stuff. No, it wasn't. I think I did a couple more, but that was our fault. I didn't have it secured. Actually, it wasn't in the back of my truck. It was on the flatbed trailer, and it was my fault. I didn't have it secured, but had left the shop with it and didn't have it tied down. But anyhow, we handled a brand called Janitrol, which was a Goodman, made by Goodman air conditioning out of Houston, Texas, and we could sell that as our budget in. And if they wanted on the new home, and if they wanted a higher end, we never could get with Carrier or any of them, but we did manage to make a deal with Ream, and it was a good little old unit, and that would be our higher end. If you wanted a name brand, we had the Ream, and if you just said, look, I got to do this thing cheap, we had a Janitrol, which was made by Goodman, and I had those on my own home, and it did fine. I done sit here and gossip till I'm 20 minutes. Y'all take care. Have a good one, and God bless y'all.